Have you ever felt something rise inside you so quickly, so violently, that it almost doesn't feel like it belongs to you? That's not some red-horned cartoon devil. It's something far more familiar, something human. It's the anger you keep feeding, the quiet rage simmering in your gut when someone disrespects you, the heat burning in your chest when life refuses to go your way. It's the part of you that snaps, the part that ruins relationships, embarrasses you, weakens you, yet you continue to nourish it without even realizing. But imagine just for a moment that you could kill that demon. What if you could bury it so deep that even chaos couldn't reach you? Imagine walking through fire with calm, steady eyes while everyone else around you is losing control. That wasn't a fantasy. Miyamoto Musashi, arguably the most dangerous man Japan ever produced, lived this truth. He wasn't merely a swordsman. He was a silent storm, a war machine wrapped in stillness. He faced more than 60 life-or-death duels, and he never lost a single one. Not because he was the fastest, not because he was the strongest, but because he carried no emotion into battle. This isn't legend. This isn't myth. This is the story of a man who defeated anger itself and became untouchable. Today you're going to learn his way. 1. Anger is the puppet string and you are the toy. Let's be brutally honest, anger doesn't make you powerful, it makes you owned. Every time you lash out, every time you explode, every time someone pushes your buttons and you react, you hand over the map to your weaknesses. You reveal exactly how to control you. Musashi understood this long before he became a legend. He realized anger wasn't strength, it was a chain, a leash, a predictable reflex that made men easy to manipulate. Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you are disturbed by external things, it is not they that trouble you, but your own judgment of them." Read it again. Because if someone can make you angry, they can make you do anything. You're not in control. You're just a puppet and your emotions are the strings. Musashi cut those strings. He trained himself to become immune to provocation, to walk into battle with the quiet stillness of a monk. Insults, threats, violence, none of it moved him. He was always watching, always calculating, always cold. Not because he felt nothing, but because he refused to let emotion pull his hand. Real strength isn't how hard you can hit. It's how impossible you are to provoke. That's what made Musashi terrifying. Not his sword, not his size, not his speed, his void. A man without emotional triggers is a man you can't manipulate, can't frighten, can't break. And that is real power. 2. The day Musashi killed anger. There is a story few people know. When Musashi was barely out of his teenage years, he challenged Arima Kihei, one of the finest, most disciplined swordsmen in all of Japan. Arima expected a formal duel. Musashi arrived with nothing but a crude wooden stick. Arima mocked him, taunted him, tried to humiliate him. Most men would have snapped, thrown a punch, or lashed out in blind emotion. Musashi didn't. He stood there, still silent, studying Arima like a problem to be solved. Then, without warning, he struck, fast, hard, precise, and he killed him. No anger, no shouting, no theatrics, just cold, deliberate execution. Musashi didn't fight with emotion. He fought with awareness, like a shadow of death itself. Anger isn't strength. True power is control. 3. The psychology of the blade. Musashi didn't just swing swords. He studied the mind. He mastered his anger. He wrote, "Do nothing which is of no use." And anger, unless used deliberately, is almost always useless. You think anger helps you win arguments, it only exposes your weakness. You think it gives you an advantage in conflict? It only entertains your enemies because they know they've already captured your mind. The mind is like a blade. When you let emotion rust it, it dulls. But when you keep it still, sharp, silent, it cuts through anything. 4. Why you get angry and why you keep losing. Let's make it personal. Why do you get angry? Someone insults you, someone cuts you off in traffic. Life feels unfair. But here's the harsh truth: you get angry because you believe you're entitled to control things you were never meant to control. You think the world owes you respect. You think people should behave the way you want. You think life should be fair. Musashi would say this is attachment, and attachment is the root of suffering. And that's where we left off with Musashi teaching us that attachment is the root of suffering. But his mastery didn't end there. What came next was the part most people never understand: to conquer anger. Musashi had to strip himself of every expectation he had of the world. Musashi trained himself to expect absolutely nothing: no comfort, no fairness, no recognition. He walked alone. He slept on cold earth. He hardened not only his body but also his spirit until it became untouchable. With no luxury to soften him, no illusion of control to trap him, he grew into a man no one could provoke. And because his mind no longer depended on the world behaving a certain way, anger simply had no place to live inside him. 5. Training the void. Musashi's practice of emptiness. You don't beat anger by yelling into a pillow or forcing yourself through 100 push-ups. You beat it by shaping your mind like a blade. That's exactly what Musashi did. He embraced voluntary hardship. He slept outside. He ate very little. He avoided fame, comfort, and fortune. Musashi believed that ease makes the mind soft, and a soft mind is a mind easily triggered. So he stripped away the comforts one by one. Try imagining it. What's the one comfort you cling to the most? Sugar hot showers, the endless scroll of social media. Musashi's teachings say this: cut it, kill it, step into discomfort on purpose. When you do, you'll see the truth, he saw. Most of your anger is just disguised entitlement. Then comes his deadliest technique: no reaction. Musashi could stay silent for hours, sometimes days. Even during grueling training sessions, he observed without responding. He didn't give his attackers, critics, or challengers the satisfaction of a reaction. Next time someone insults you, try what he did: pause. Don't reply. Don't defend. Just watch. You'll feel the power shift immediately. And if you want to understand the depth of his calm, here's the final piece. Musashi meditated on death every morning. Why? Because a man who is not afraid to die cannot be shaken by anything less. He wrote, think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. When death becomes your quiet companion, anger fades. What is a rude comment, an inconvenience, a traffic jam compared to the void? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. 6. Kill the ego. Kill the fire. At its core, anger is ego wearing a mask. You don't get angry because the world is cruel. You get angry because your pride is bruised. Your image feels threatened. Someone challenges your worth, ignores you, disrespects you, and suddenly that inner fire explodes. But Musashi understood what most people never even question. The ego is weakness pretending to be importance. The more you feed it, the more fragile you become. So he killed it. He burned it. He starved it until nothing remained. He didn't care whether people liked him. He didn't care if his name echoed through history. He didn't cling to praise or status. He didn't dress to impress or perform for crowds, because he knew the more you crave recognition, the easier you are to control. The more your identity depends on how others see you, the more power they hold to break you. Musashi walked through the world like a shadow, detached, free, silent, almost ghost-like. He understood one truth: a man with nothing to prove is a man no one can provoke. When you kill the ego, insults become background noise, criticism becomes information, rejection becomes irrelevant, and anger. It dies because there's nothing left for it to protect. If you want to become untouchable, don't build thicker armor. Burn the ego that begs for protection. For the warrior with no pride left to wound, he is the one you should fear the most. 7. The final duel. Musashi versus Sasaki Kojiro. Let's end with the duel that defined his legend. Sasaki Kojiro was a national icon, fast, graceful, deadly. Everyone expected an evenly matched battle, but Musashi had other plans. He arrived hours late. Not out of laziness, but strategy. He wanted Kojiro furious, shaken off balance, and it worked. By the time Musashi's boat touched shore, Kojiro was boiling with rage. Musashi stepped off calmly holding a single wooden sword carved from an oar. Kojiro lunged wild, emotional, uncontrolled. Musashi stayed still, cold, calculating. One perfectly timed strike, and Kojiro fell. That is where anger leads straight into the blade. 8 Musashi's way the modern code. This isn't about pretending to be a samurai. It's about adopting the essence of their discipline: emptiness, detachment, precision, silence. If you want to stop being angry, stop reacting, start observing, stop expecting, start detaching, stop screaming, start sharpening. And remember, the quieter you are, the deadlier you become. The warrior's path begins with accepting death completely calmly. As Musashi wrote, when you no longer fear discomfort, when you no longer need others to behave the way you want, when you can stare death in the face and laugh. Anger evaporates. All that remains is stillness and power.